Work is being done by the city police department and the sheriff's department and the DA's office and our elected leaders, the mayor, the county executive, district attorney, sheriff, our officials from the state, our assembly members. But I wanted to have the opportunity today to bring everybody together and talk about a path forward, how we can restore the sense and perception of public safety that is so necessary here. And I'm going to continue other investments. $400 million is in my budget right now. And I need support from this entire community to help me get this over the finish line in the next few months during our negotiations. We're talking about $150 million for the State Museum, a place I take my granddaughter to when she visits. Funding the next phase of 787, the on-ramp center, the College of St. Rose's campus, which is going to be extraordinary. A lot of places, a lot of parts of our city do feel vibrant and alive and they're humming, but not every street, not every corner. And I want to focus on the fact that, yes, so crime statistics are heading downward. That is a good accomplishment, and thank everyone who's been involved in it. Down 12% overall. Statewide, crimes are down dramatically. Shootings are down. But it's all about perception of reality and how we can work together to give people that stronger sense of security. So I've offered additional money over the last few years. We've provided $47 million to the county and the city for law enforcement. Just last year, $18 million. This also covers our GIVE program, which is our gun-involved program to make sure we get guns off the streets. That's been successful. Our SNUG programs to have violence disruptor programs for young people, let them know the alternatives. The Project Rise, which helps community service organizations that provide mental health services. A lot of our challenges on our streets, whether it's New York City, Albany, Rochester, Syracuse, or Buffalo, stem from the fact that there are many people who are dealing with severe mental health crises that demonstrate they are no longer able to take care of themselves on our streets, and that is not compassionate to leave them there. But I want to talk about the $1 million that I want to surge for the City of Albany Police Department. I want a stronger police presence. The officers I spoke to know the impact that they have when they're walking down a block. It gives people a sense of confidence, a sense of security. So we'll assist with overtime. We'll cover overtime shifts to ensure overnight coverage is even more enhanced. We'll pay for new intelligence gathering technology. I have seen this work very successfully in other cities, and I want to make sure that we're having the state-of-the-art, the best-in-class technology available here. I also want to provide the sheriff with $500,000 for personnel overtime pay, however he feels it needs to be used. A narrative that Albany is a crime-ridden city is false. False. But I want to make sure, and I challenged everyone to tell me what success looks like. How will we know when we're there? And I'm going to stay committed to this until that objective is achieved, where people in this city, visitors, residents, businesses, all have that foundation of security that they deserve. One crime can be frightening. We have to get to a place where this city feels stable, safe, and secure, and that is what I'm committed to with these resources and the continuation of support from our state police superintendent. James is here as well, and my entire team is committed to this. With that, we'll take any questions on this topic, and you can ask anyone behind me as well.
Governor, on this topic, one of the big problems that local officials have highlighted is the lack of state workers here. Will you consider, as they're considering in Washington or doing in Washington, a mandatory return to work, and can you?
I'm very aware of what has happened to downtown areas across the state, not just Albany, but obviously we have a high percentage of state workers here, when people are participating in remote work. I also have to tell you this, I still have a shortage of workers, and I have to be sensitive to a decision that could actually trigger a larger exodus of people from the state workforce. I have thousands of jobs that are vacant right now, but I'm aware of the impact that this has had, and it's something that I've actually engaged in conversations with my team on what this does to the downtown urban area. But also, we bring more housing down here. These buildings, these storefronts, they should be filled with people living here, young people. The young people work in the Capitol. Those who are educated at our phenomenal colleges here who want to stay, they need a place to live. So as we focus on safety, that's here, but also if I can drive more housing into places that may have had government workers, then we replace that with people that are here 24/7. This is their home, and I want to continue focusing on our housing policies as well to deal with that.
Are you considering that? Is
I
that
have.
on the table?
I am looking at all the policies I can to assist the revitalization of downtown Albany.
On topic, either for the police department or the sheriff's office, are you having an issue with retention and recruitment? I mean, what does the police department staffing look like as of right now?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, so for the city,
What-
we-
what-
Can you
what-
go to the,
sure.
yeah, like what do levels look like right now, and what does your backfill look like?
Yep. So we are having an ongoing hire and retention issue. We're about 79 people short. We are currently hiring off of the civil service test that we have active right now. We also have an active hiring process. We are providing a test in May, so joinapd.com is something we have going on right now. And we're also looking at other avenues to be able to fill some of the needs for non-police services. We often get many calls for service that don't require a police response, so we're looking at those as well. We'll be utilizing some of this funding to be able to add on patrols to be able to address some of those needs as well. But we also recognize that the women and men of the department work tirelessly to address many of those needs. So we have to recognize that we have to up our staffing to be able to give them some relief.
What kind of a void does that leave then in Albany? I mean, 79 people, that seems like a huge deficit in the police department.
Yeah, it does. It definitely leaves a void, and it is something that we are continuing to make up for by having officers work extra shifts, by utilizing this funding to be able to get officers out there. And then again, we are looking at some unique opportunities to be able to address bringing social workers, have them go out in the street, deal with homeless issues, people with unmet behavioral health issues, so we can concentrate on more police-related calls as well.
Any other on topics? Okay, thank you. We'll
All
excuse
right.
our roundtable
All right.
participants after the
Thanks,
meeting.
everybody.
And we'll bring up Superintendent James. You guys want to slide over this and get everyone together with the
I want to take a moment to address the illegal walkouts that are occurring at prison facilities all across the state of New York. Let me be clear. The illegal actions being taken by a number of individuals is putting the entire state at risk. We need them back to work. This must end immediately. My administration has worked tirelessly over the last 9 days to resolve this. In fact, we've brought in mediators requested by the union. The mediation started yesterday. It continues again today. We want to find out what the issue is, because the individuals who've walked out in an unsanctioned strike, unapproved by the union, have yet to tell us the issues. We've done everything we can to encourage them to get back to work. They know they're in violation of the New York State Taylor Law. They also are in violation of a temporary restraining order to return to work. We offered an amnesty period where they could go back to work, no questions asked. We also repealed a staffing memo that had been viewed as controversial. We also suspended portions of the HALT law, which requires a certain amount of time out and other activities that we do not have the staffing to implement. I've also had to deploy 6,500 members of the National Guard to do the jobs of those who've walked out. That means that they've been taken either from their homes or critical assignments, whether they're protecting assets in New York City or elsewhere against terrorism. We have tried hard to end this. I've had conversations with many, many leaders, but we need a good faith effort to resolve this, starting now. I'm prepared to do that. I understand there's a lot of frustration about the long hours. I have long stood with the corrections officers of this state, more than I'm going to guess any other governor, and say these conditions are hard. I understand that. We need more of you on the job. I get that. But we have a situation right now which is absolutely untenable, especially the fact that there were prisons left unguarded. Think about that. The incarcerated population was left unguarded. There were people from other unions, people who work in healthcare and the commissary, who were left unprotected by these actions. Thank God for the National Guard that are in there doing work that they never anticipated. And the condition inside the prisons is stabilized. We've had to start legal proceedings against these individuals. Not something I ever would want to do, but I have a law to enforce. We've also let them know that if you are striking, your AWL, you no longer secure the right to have health benefits from the state. That goes away. Your legal proceedings have started, your legal representation is not covered by the union because this is not sanctioned by the union. They will not pay for this. And I am so grateful to the law-abiding correction officers who are still showing up and want to get back to work in a normal setting. We will get there as soon as possible. These are difficult, difficult jobs. I know that. I know that. But people took an oath of office to protect the public. We have to get back to ensuring that that oath is kept. There's an enormous strain on our system right now. I encourage everyone to come back to work. We hear you with respect to the long hours. I'm working hard to address that. But we also have, as you've heard here in the city of Albany, recruitment issues. These are hard jobs. Not everybody's signing up for them. We're doing the very best we can. The prison population has declined by half over the last number of years. We're working hard to consolidate, making sure that we are maximizing every bed in our facilities. In fact, we're transporting members of the incarcerated population as we speak to take them to other facilities where I can protect them more readily. So that's where we are. That's the status. We're very engaged and look forward to a resolution as soon as possible. Any questions?
Governor,
Questions on docs
the situation at Collins, the doc said that the prison inmates were all transferred out. That seemed to happen very suddenly. What exactly happened there? Why was Collins, how come the inmates are no longer at Collins?
I don't think they've all been transferred out.
That's correct.
That's only a small percentage of them. 40 out of 800?
We started with 40. There are additionals, and we have transferred yesterday for safety. It's all about the safety of the individuals, both who are there as the safety of the people who are still working in those facilities, primarily civilian, with the support of the National Guard.
Here's what I had to do. I have no one protecting the incarcerated population. 15,000 people walk off their jobs. I need to start talking to my county holding centers. Who has space? What other prisons have space that I can make sure people are protected in? What is happening out of state? Do I have other research? I have had to do a whole of government approach to solving this. And one very simple one is to transfer people from facilities where I can congregate more people, where I do have protection, where I do have guards, where I do have the National Guard in larger facilities. So it is not singling out Collins. It is going to have to happen everywhere. I have to make sure this population and all the people who go in there doing their jobs are protected.
And Governor, you said you don't know what they want. It's been 9 days. Do you have any idea what the striking officers want? And it's 9 days too long.
Yes. We offered them amnesty after a day or two. They could have gone back. You made your point. Thank you. We hear you. I get it. The hours and shifts are too long. But when they're not represented by a union, and I'm negotiating with a union, I'm asking the union, what do they want? I mean, it can't be pay and benefits because you literally just negotiated a very generous package less than a year ago. I mean, we went from hazard pay being $200 to $1,000. New recruits get $6,500. This was a package that they all agreed to less than a year ago. So I don't believe it's about benefits and pay. I'm not aware that it is. We suspended parts of the HALT Act. We rescinded a memo where it was determined because of our shortages that 70% would constitute the equivalency of 100% staffing. That was gone within a few days. We knew that that was perhaps instigating some of this. So we have taken steps to calm the situation down, provide them what we're able to provide, and working now to find out how we can have shorter shifts for them. And if I'm one of their families, I know how hard it is, especially when because we are in a desperate situation, that you may have a shift that you thought was 12, it went to 16, it may even go to 24. That is not acceptable to me. It is not good for them, their families, or our state. But right now, I have to backfill 15,000 jobs. Again, thank God for the National Guard.
Is the amnesty offer still on the table?
No.
And has anyone been arrested? And if not,
The proceedings have started. I think we have 380 people on the first list through the Attorney General's office. They're being served by state police as we speak. This is in violation of law.
Okay,
Now,
any
Governor,
other?
how many more people do you intend to name in the lawsuit? How many people?
We're doing this in batches. I don't know. Do we know how many more are coming, Marcos? We're just administratively, it takes some time. The Attorney General's office has to run conflicts checks. That takes some time. Our state police have to identify locations, where to serve process. So it started over the weekend. We had hoped that when the first few realized what's happening here, that could bring people back, because this is a very serious matter. But if it had no effect, then we're going to continue on the process we're on right now.
And how are those batches being prioritized right now? Is it facility by facility? Is
Do
it?
you know that, Marcos? Yeah. This is Marcos Soler, the Deputy Secretary for Public Safety.
So what we are doing is identifying with the superintendents in each facility what are the people who are driving this illegal strike, as the governor has indicated. What is important for us is right now, as the governor says, 9 out of 10 correctional officers are on this illegal strike, and we will go to get to every single one of them until they return to work. That's our priority, because the safety of those who work in the facility, of the incarcerated individuals, and the large communities cannot be compromised at this point.
Thanks, Marcos. Nick, no, next, Bob, you got a question.
One at a time.
This is on the issue of public safety, you've repeatedly said is your top priority
Right.
for the state. The wives of about 15 correctional officers, including, and there was an officer who was there, said yesterday that easily their top issue is safety. It's not about the money, it's about safety for them and the inmates. What do you say to that and the fact that they are saying that is what they care about the most?
Whose safety are we talking about?
They're saying both the inmates and their spouses.
Leaving almost the entire incarcerated population and the members of our state workforce who feed them and provide medical care and mental health services, leaving them alone, unprotected, is not my definition of public safety.
Dan?
Governor, Republicans in Congress are considering different topic.
Oh, I think we're still on this topic, aren't we? Okay, what topic are we on now?
Republicans in Congress are considering major Medicaid cuts this week. I'm wondering if you have any sense of how that would impact the state. And second, on the lieutenant governor, would you like to see him step out of office now so you can pick somebody new for the remainder of your term?
The Republican attack on our social safety network has already begun. We knew this was coming, and they're actually literally talking about voting today on cutting services, essential health care services for 1.8 million New Yorkers. So I'm saying, call your members of Congress who claim they represent the people of this state and stand up to this assault on New Yorkers, our health care, and our values. This is just the beginning, and we are not going to start down this path without a major fight from the state of New York.
Governor, Mayor Adams, you announced guardrails, sanctions on him. City Council appears to not be buying this. There might not be votes in the City Council, and there's no bill yet for the legislature. What's your plan B? I mean, will you actually move to remove Mayor Adams?
I'll continue working with the City Council to find out what concerns they have. I'd be shocked to think that people don't agree that there should be some measures that give us line of sight into 3 specific areas. This is not broad-based power. This is talking about legal decisions, related to federal lawsuits that are potential. It's related to budgetary, to make sure that their decisions related, again, federal dollars are managed properly, and also investigatory, related to the Inspector General. These are three narrow areas where I will have more confidence, and I think the people of the city will have more confidence. And this is what I believe is the most thoughtful, rational approach at this time. Now, others may have a different opinion, and if they think this is a pressure campaign to get me to remove him, everybody ought to know. I understand why there's such pressure, but pressure means nothing to me.
Will you endorse him for re-election?
I will not be getting involved in this primary season because of the unique powers that I have conferred to me, that I will not do anything to put my thumb on the scale, and I will let the voters, the city of New York, decide who they want to lead. That is the proper thing to do in light of everything that's been happening.
We have time for one more, Nick. Nick, we have time for one more for Nick.
Governor, to follow up on Dan's question, should Lieutenant Governor Delgado resign?
It is clear to me that he's not happy being in the role of lieutenant governor, but I wish him well in whatever he chooses to do.
Governor, is your, what you said about the city of New York also apply for the Democratic situation in the city of Buffalo, where you have the Democratic Party has endorsed Sean Ryan? Are you going to make an endorsement in that race?
I am not in a position to be making endorsements. I have a state to govern. I got to focus not on politics, but on governance. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate
In
it.
the scope of when they say they're
What about
not,
Andrew
don't
Cuomo
we
running?
know
Do you
he's
welcome